Breaking the gray.
Boom. That's right. Bonus content. Everyone loves bonus content. That's why we got Sarah to give you her quick hacks, on-the-go content just for you about specific things that we know are going to help you along the way. Take a listen. Here we go. All right, we're back. We're back still in our in what we call in sports like basketball here in the U.S. We're in overtime. So we're giving some overtime content here to our favorite listeners. We're with our favorite rebel scientist, Sarah Turner. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you, Russ.
We are. This is a great topic. I am so curious about what nightlife is like for you. I want to hear all about it. I want to hear what a rebel scientist does at night to keep this party going. So let's start. How does the evening wind down and you prep for sleep, all those things? This is a great area for us.
So if we're talking about it from a biological point of view again, we've spoke about a biohacking day. And at the end of our biohacking day, we had us relaxing, connecting, turning down the lights, preparing to go to sleep. Now, the sleep is probably one of the most important aspects of life, or one of the most important things you can do. And so you need to get it right. And I think it's now becoming linked with so many different illnesses, and it's really one of the most fundamental things. But biohacking has enabled the tracking of sleep, which is super cool, because having an awareness of, what kind of sleep you're getting, what quality of sleep you're getting, when and how, and, how long it takes you to go to sleep and all those kinds of metrics, that's really important, and it really helps you to get into a routine with your sleep. So I'm going to say one of the things from a biohacking point of view that's really helpful if you can get some kind of sleep tracker. And even, okay, most phones do some kind of sleep tracking, but just to put that in your awareness so that you have an idea, because you may think that, you have a good night's sleep, but until you actually look at it and start analyzing the data a bit more, sometimes, you don't have such a great awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's any device specifically that you prefer, or the devices you prefer?
Well, right now I've got an Oura Ring, so I use the Oura Ring, and I think that's probably one of the best ones for sleep. I've also used a Whoop, one called a Whoop device, and before that I did just use the app that I had on my iPhone. Okay,
are you doing any wind down, anything like meditation, anything to sort of wind down the senses?
Well, that certainly would be a good idea. I can't admit this is an aspiration of mine now we're in lockdown, is to start, really with my meditation practice. But I think whatever you're doing, it should be screen free at least for an hour before you go to bed. So I tend to, the old fashioned way, I must admit, I read, or I have an audio book on. Okay. For a little while. But from a biohacking point of view, it's about trying to get rid of external interference from outside. So you don't want any light. If possible, you want to turn your Wi-Fi off. You want to put your phone on airplane mode and put it in another room. You don't want to be looking at screens, because all of these non-native electromagnetic fields, which is what all of these things are we're talking about, will impact your sleep. And certainly, you may not notice it. Certainly, people may say, oh, well, I don't even notice I have it on. But these things can be cumulative. And really, if you can eliminate them fairly easily, why not? It's really, for me, just turning the plug off on the Wi-Fi router, it's no big deal.
Yeah. That's it's, there's so many, there's so much that you read about turning off your phone, putting your phone away. It destroys marriages. It destroys a good night's sleep. But get the phone at least a distance away from you, so you're not distracted by it.
No, and you're not tempted, because really, if you're thinking about how the brain works, you only have to flick that phone on and just see that light, even for like a few seconds, for your brain to start triggering and going into another mode. And then you're straight away, you're out of your mode of sleeping. And like I say, at the moment, I'm keeping an eye on my deep sleep, because even though I know I sleep very well, it's come to my attention recently using these tracking devices that sometimes I don't get enough deep sleep. Now, deep sleep is important for the brain because some other fascinating fact that I was reading about only today, Russ, is that actually the fluid in your brain actually kind of slooshes around your brain and oscillates at a certain rhythm only in deep sleep. And what this actually does when you're having this, the fluid going through your brain, is it's taking away all the waste products that are building up from metabolism through the day.
Wow.
If you don't do this, it just stays in your brain and builds up. And so this may be one of the major contributors of neurodegeneration, is that people are not getting enough deep sleep. So they're not kind of getting that effect in the brain.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. You've obviously, one of the things you've learned about biohacking is understanding yourself and testing and learning what's right for you. Have you tried melatonin, or the things that you're doing to prompt sleep faster? Or are you finding that because you're in such a good zone, you don't need those kinds of things? You don't need anything to kind of influence it?
Well, melatonin is a very interesting hormone/chemical. And actually what people don't realize is melatonin, people say it's the hormone of darkness because, that's the thing that helps you sleep. But the interesting thing about it is it's actually manufactured in your body in the morning. And actually the trigger of that manufacture process is seeing that red light in the morning. So right. If you want to have enough melatonin in your body in the evening as you start to wind down, you need to start making it at the start of the day.
Right.
And I think, if you supplement with melatonin, you are taking that ability away from your body. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't encourage your body to produce melatonin naturally and you start subsidizing it, then your body will stop making that hormone.
Yeah.
It becomes a cycle, so anything that's taking away from the body's natural ability to produce these substances, it's long term, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So now, I don't take melatonin.
When you prepare your room, then are you doing things to complete darkness? Do you have, auburn light, hue lights low? What are you doing within the lighting within your room?
Yeah, so I just put on the orange light. I actually use a salt lamp because that's kind of a very low level light and it actually puts ionized air out into the room. But I think the most important thing is to take away all of the light sources. And this is something that I've done for a long time. I used to drive people nuts. If I go and stay on their house, I put cushions all around, the videos or anything that's flashing, or if you've got a telly that's got even a tiny, weeny little LED, you want to turn that off. You don't want to have any artificial lights. Because like I say, it really only takes a very small amount of light to trigger your brain into wakefulness.
Yeah.
So like that.
Then do you find that there's anything that prompts you for a better night's sleep, that where you look back and say, these are the things that give me my best night's sleep?
There are things, I actually sleep quite well, but there are lots of things you can do to get a good night's sleep. Things like having a hot bath, and you can bath in magnesium salts. Magnesium is a really good way of kind of getting a good sleep. That's something that's often lacking in our bodies, and you can soak it in through the skin. So bathing in magnesium salts, having lavender in the room, these things that sound very woo-woo and a bit old lady-fied, they actually really do work. There is a very direct connection with that olfactory part of your brain, the part where you detect odors, to brain function. So think calming smells like lavender is very good. And then if you want to take a few herbs, something like valerian has been known to help with sleep. And sometimes, if I'm coaching people and they're having trouble with sleep, often just taking valerian, winding down, having the baths, all of those things will help.
Sure.
Having the night. And it is important because, like I say, we're now finding that deep sleep is important, and also dreaming is important, and you only get that in REM, which is another stage of sleep. And from a kind of esoteric point of view, that's where your creativity comes from.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I heard a fantastic quote the other day. Yeah, from my favorite songwriter, he said he wakes up. The minute he wakes up, he starts writing things down because that's how he writes his song, because he knows within 1 hour, his self-conscious self is going to wake up and criticize everything he just did. So he has an hour to beat his self-conscious mind. Is there anything that you do as a biohacker, rebel scientist, in terms of, journaling and dreams and things like that? Is it important for you?
Yeah, I do. I do have a notepad on my bed with a pen, and I do write down my dreams if I remember them when I wake up, because you're right, that's a different part of your brain. And sometimes you do get insights. I mean, sometimes I write things down and then, during the day I look at it and think, oh my goodness, what on earth is that? But it's something to look at, to ponder on. I know a lot of people who have inspirations in dreams, and there's a lot of famous scientists who've made discoveries in their dreams, and you have to write it down. Yeah.
Right. Now, when you're in wake up mode, is there anything that you reflect on that you say, during the night before, that you look back and say, these are all tips that I need to remember to make the evenings, to make the sleep better and to make the evenings better?
No, I think if you can kind of live your day as much as you can in harmony with natural rhythms, if you're kind of eating at the right times and you're connecting with people, you've kind of made your peace. I mean, there's a lot to be said for kind of journaling and gratitude journals and kind of getting everything out of your mind before you go to sleep, or however you might do it, talking to your phone, write it down. And then following your body, making sure you've had enough water. I think really that's the best recipe for a good night's sleep, and then track it and then monitor it and then constantly improve, because again, this is, we always bang on about responsibility. This is one thing that you can totally take control of, is your sleep.
That's right. It's all about optimization and testing. If you're quantifying yourself, you've got to optimize and test. Sarah, thank you. Your nightlife sounds absolutely crazy. I can't wait to have a glass of wine with you and prepare for our good night's sleep. Thank you so much again, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, Ross. Take care.
The Rebel Scientist Podcast is a Breaking the Gray production, created by Russ Eisenman and Paul Wood, hosted by Sarah Turner, music and sound editing by Logan Shea. For more information and other fantastic podcasts, visit breakingthegray.com. That's gray with an E, breakingthegray.com.
Breaking the gray.